There's something I've been thinking about lately, something I hear from so many people our age. Have you ever found yourself saying, "I just don't feel like going out like I used to"? Or maybe you've noticed that you're perfectly content staying in, enjoying your own company, rather than filling your calendar with social events like you might have years ago. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something right away: you're not alone. And more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, it's completely normal to start pulling back from socializing as we get older. But have you ever wondered why that happens? Today, we're going to explore 6 psychological reasons behind this shift, why we start avoiding people more as we age, and why it's not only natural but often a healthy part of growing older. By the end of this, I hope you'll feel reassured, maybe even a little lighter, knowing that what you're feeling makes perfect sense. So let's start with the first reason, one that might surprise you. 1. Your priorities shift, and that's a good thing. When we're younger, socializing often feels like an obligation. We go to parties we don't really want to attend, say yes to gatherings out of politeness, or force ourselves into conversations just to avoid feeling left out. But as we age, something beautiful happens. We start caring less about what others think. Think about it. How many times in your life have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? Probably more than you can count. But now, you've earned the right to be selective. You know what brings you joy, what drains your energy, and you're no longer willing to waste precious time on things or people that don't truly matter to you. This isn't about becoming antisocial. It's about becoming intentional. You're choosing quality over quantity, and that's a sign of wisdom, not withdrawal. 2. Your energy is finite, and you're protecting it. Let's be honest, socializing can be exhausting. Even if you love being around people, it takes energy to engage, to listen, to keep up with conversations. And as we get older, our energy reserves aren't what they used to be. That's not a weakness, it's biology. You might notice that after a long visit with family or a busy afternoon with friends, you need more time to recharge than you did in your 40s or 50s. That's because your brain and body are working harder to process social interactions. It's like running a marathon. You wouldn't expect to recover as quickly at 70 as you did at 30, right? So when you find yourself opting for a quiet evening at home instead of a night out, you're not being lazy. You're being smart. You're listening to your body and giving it what it needs. And that's something to celebrate. 3. You've outgrown superficial connections. Here's something I've noticed. The older we get, the less patience we have for small talk. How's the weather? What do you think about the news? Those kinds of conversations might have filled time in the past, but now, they feel empty. And that's because, deep down, you crave meaning. You want conversations that matter, stories, memories, shared laughter, or even comfortable silence with someone who truly gets you. Superficial chatter starts to feel like noise, and when that happens, it's natural to pull back from people who don't add depth to your life. This isn't about being picky or judgmental. It's about recognizing that life is too short for connections that don't feed your soul. And if that means your social circle gets smaller, that's okay. Because the people who remain? They're the ones who truly matter. Now, these first 3 reasons are just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, like how your brain actually changes as you age, why solitude can be a gift, and how embracing this shift can lead to more happiness, not less. But we'll get into all of that as we move forward. For now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed yourself feeling this way? Maybe you've found joy in quieter moments, or realized that some relationships just don't fit who you are anymore. Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next part, where we'll dive even deeper into why pulling back from people isn't just normal. It can be one of the healthiest choices you make. Until then, remember, your time is precious, and how you spend it is up to you. And that's something worth honoring. You know, one of the most beautiful things about getting older is how clearly we begin to see what truly matters in life. We start to recognize the difference between the people who lift us up and those who weigh us down, and we become much less willing to tolerate the latter. But this shift isn't just about preference or personality. There are deep, psychological reasons why we start to value our peace over constant socializing. And understanding these reasons can help us embrace this stage of life with confidence instead of guilt. So, let's pick up where we left off and explore the next few reasons why pulling back from people as we age isn't just normal. It's often a sign of emotional intelligence. 4. Your brain changes. And that's actually a good thing. Here's something fascinating. As we age, our brains undergo natural changes that affect how we socialize. Research shows that older adults often become more selective with their social interactions because, neurologically, we start prioritizing emotional satisfaction over sheer quantity of connections. Think of it like this. When you were younger, your brain was wired to seek novelty, to meet new people, to explore different social circles. But now, your brain craves meaningful interactions. It's not that you don't enjoy company. It's that you enjoy the right kind of company. This is why you might find large gatherings overwhelming now, whereas before they energized you. Your brain is filtering out the noise, helping you focus on what truly brings you joy. And that's not something to resist, it's something to trust. 5. You've earned the right to enjoy solitude. Let's talk about solitude for a moment, because there's a big difference between loneliness and choosing to be alone. Loneliness feels empty. Solitude, on the other hand, feels nourishing. As we age, many of us discover a newfound appreciation for quiet moments. Maybe it's sitting with a cup of tea and a good book, tending to your garden, or simply enjoying the stillness of the morning. These moments aren't just filling time, they're replenishing you. Society often tells us that being alone is sad or pitiable, but that's simply not true. Some of the most content people in the world are those who've learned to enjoy their own company. If you've started to crave more solitude, it's not a sign of withdrawal, it's a sign of self-awareness. You know what you need, and you're giving it to yourself. 6. You're no longer willing to tolerate drama. Raise your hand if you've ever thought, I don't have the patience for this anymore. Whether it's gossip, complaining, or unnecessary conflict, you've probably noticed that your tolerance for negativity has dropped significantly over the years. And guess what? That's a good thing. When we're younger, we might put up with toxic behavior because we don't want to rock the boat or because we think it's just part of life. But as we age, we realize how precious our time and energy are, and we become much less willing to waste them on people who thrive on drama. This isn't about being intolerant or judgmental. It's about setting healthy boundaries. You've lived long enough to know that life is too short for unnecessary stress, and if that means stepping back from certain relationships, that's not avoidance, it's self-respect. Now, you might be wondering, if all of this is natural, does that mean I should just stop socializing altogether? Not at all. The key is balance. It's about recognizing what you need, whether that's more quiet time or deeper connections, and giving yourself permission to honor that. In the next part, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts on how to navigate this stage of life with confidence, including how to communicate your needs to loved ones and why this shift can actually lead to greater happiness. But for now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed yourself becoming more selective with your time and energy? Maybe you've let go of certain relationships or discovered a love for solitude. Share your experiences in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone in this. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the final part of this conversation. Remember, growing older isn't about losing anything, it's about gaining the wisdom to live life on your terms. Isn't it remarkable how life has a way of teaching us what truly matters? When we're young, we often measure our worth by how many people we know, how many invitations we receive, how full our social calendars are. But as the years go by, we realize something profound. The quality of our connections matters far more than the quantity. In these final thoughts, I want to leave you with not just understanding why we pull back socially as we age, but how to embrace this shift in ways that enrich your life rather than diminish it. Because this isn't about closing doors, it's about choosing which ones to keep open. 7. You've learned the value of deep connection. There's a beautiful transformation that happens over time. We stop collecting acquaintances and start cherishing true friends. You might have fewer people in your life now, but the ones who remain? Those are your anchors. The ones who've seen you through joys and sorrows, who don't need explanations or pretenses, who love you as you are. This is why superficial gatherings start to feel unsatisfying. Your heart isn't looking for more faces, it's looking for more meaning. And when you do spend time with people who truly matter to you, those moments become richer, more nourishing. That's not withdrawal, that's wisdom. 8. You're writing your own rules for happiness. Let's be honest, society has a lot of opinions about how we should live at every age. But here's the truth, you get to decide what happiness looks like for you now. If that means declining invitations without guilt, or preferring a quiet phone call over a crowded party, that's not just okay, it's empowering. Think of it this way, you've spent decades meeting others' expectations. Now is the time to honor your needs. Maybe socializing looks different now, shorter visits, smaller groups, or more meaningful one-on-one time. That's not a compromise, it's curating your life to fit who you are today. 9. You understand the gift of presence, in all its forms. One of the most beautiful lessons that comes with age is realizing that connection doesn't always require physical presence. A heartfelt letter, a thoughtful text, or even sitting quietly with someone you love can be more powerful than hours of chatter. And sometimes, the most important person to be present with is yourself. Those moments of reflection, of enjoying your own company, they're not isolation. They're integration. They're how we make peace with our lives, our memories, and the people we've become. A final thought, this isn't an ending, it's an evolution. If you take nothing else from this, remember this. Pulling back from people as you age isn't about losing your sociability or becoming withdrawn. It's about refining your life to match the person you've grown into. You're not the same as you were at 30, or 50, or even last year, and why should you be? Every stage of life brings its own gifts, and this one offers the rare privilege of knowing exactly what, and who, is worth your energy. So the next time you choose a quiet evening over a social event, or find yourself savoring solitude, don't second-guess it. Trust yourself. You've earned this discernment. Your turn. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How has your relationship with socializing changed over the years? What have you discovered about yourself in the process? Your stories inspire and reassure others, so please share them in the comments below. If this conversation resonated with you, hit that like button, it helps others find this video. And if you're not subscribed, I'd love for you to join our community. We talk about all the unspoken truths of aging with honesty, humor, and heart. Remember, growing older isn't about fading away, it's about shining in exactly the way you choose. Here's to living these years with intention, peace, and the quiet joy of knowing exactly what matters most.